in Syracuse, inside the Dome. Notre Dame won in fairly dominant fashion. However, Notre Dame is not the same team, or at least doesn't have the same pieces that they did in that game. Lauren Ebo is out for the 5th straight game with a lower body injury, and Dara Mabry out with that season-ending injury a couple of weeks ago. Syracuse will start with the ball. What are you going to look for early here as far as the Syracuse offense against Notre Dame with that height down low, Kelly?
Syracuse is going to have to find a way to score in the paint. We know they can shoot threes. They want to take a lot of threes, and Dyasisha Fair takes one right there. But they've got to have some balance and find ways to score in the paint. I think the biggest concern for Cuse going up against this Notre Dame team, even without Ebo, is just that size in the paint, and these bigs for Syracuse have to compete.
All right, so there we go. Get a little poke at the ball.
That's always a good omen, you know, to start a game.
Take a look at the starting 5 for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish here today at home. And Olivia Miles, a lot of the offense runs through her, as we know. Olivia Citron has just been on fire the last couple of games. 3 20-point games over the last 6. Ball down low and a whistle as Kylee Watson was going up. She'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Keep an eye on that ball screen action that Notre Dame is running. From what I can tell on that very first possession, Syracuse is going to try to switch most things. And that's kind of the benefit of what I was saying about Syracuse not having a ton of size that blows you away, is that they can switch a lot of ball screens because they have athletic post players inside. Lewis and Wood and Rice can guard and stay in front of these guards for Notre Dame.
Watson makes both, and an early lead for Notre Dame here, and started right with that little full court pressure. Starting 5 for Syracuse, Dyasisha Fair and Georgia Woolley have kind of run the show offensively for this team, especially the last couple of weeks. Woolley averaging 14 points per game in ACC play, but she's been on a tear the last few weeks. Also 3 20-point games. And that one knocked away. Watson hands it off to Miles, 3-on-2. Bounce pass to Westbeld. Can't finish with the left. And loose ball picked up by Dyasisha Fair.
That is when Notre Dame is at its best, when it can get out in transition, but a missed layup. This crowd wanted to explode. That was a great pass from Olivia Miles. Notre Dame has to convert those layups.
Dyasisha Fair looking to the sidelines there, getting some words from head coach Felicia Leggett-Jack in her first season back at Syracuse. Nice drive there for Elena Rice, averaging 7 points per game, the senior guard from Rockledge, Florida.
And that's what I was talking about, not just settling for threes against the Notre Dame zone, finding ways to attack the paint. Great job by Rice.
Westbeld puts it on the floor, double team, somehow able to finish mid-air. Maddy Westbeld, the junior, at 17 points in the win over Pitt, her 3rd double-double of the season as well, with those 10 rebounds.
What a move by Westbeld, so crafty inside.
Well, she was open underneath, was Kyra Wood, the 3rd turnover of the game. Head coach Felicia Leggett-Jack back at Syracuse, the Syracuse native returning home following a 20-year collegiate head coaching career. Synonymous name with Syracuse. Kelly and I were actually on the call for the game last year where they retired Coach Jack's jersey in the Dome. Brought her entire staff over from Buffalo. Just goes to show you the amount of trust and loyalty that she has. And boy, I mean, you talk to anybody who is involved in this program, it's just kind of a different feel, different vibe right now for Syracuse. Out of bounds, going to stay here with Notre Dame.
Syracuse opened up in man-to-man on the first possession, but now they're playing zone, and you can tell Notre Dame has said, we're going to try to attack that zone with our bigs, use our size. They've gone to Westbeld quite a few times early.
Citron turns, pops one underneath. Watson lays it up and in.
Beautiful pass by Sonia Citron. Watson got good position. The defense was in front of her, wide open for the high-low pass.
Watson 4 points here in the first quarter. The junior transfer from Oregon. Played 2 seasons for the Ducks. Hyman puts it on the deck. Good ball movement. Woolley open for three in the corner and hits. Talk about the last couple of weeks for Georgia Woolley, Kelly.
She has been on fire.
Yeah.
There's no other way to describe what Georgia Woolley is doing. Just a sophomore, was the freshman of the year in the MAC last year when she was at Buffalo with Coach Jack. She's super long, she's 6 foot, and she can shoot the rock.
Take a look at what she's done over the last 5 games. Georgia Woolley, 19 points, shooting over 40% from the field. Also 4 rebounds a game, but they need her, and they need another option to kind of draw some attention away from Dyasisha Fair. Tisha Hyman, a long three. It's well off the mark, and Westbeld brings in the rebound.
We've got 2 really good Australian players in this league named Georgia,
Right.
and they both wear number 5. You just saw Georgia Amore light up Florida State.
Dyasisha Fair takes it all the way in for 2, averaging 20 points per game. A star transfer from Buffalo came over with Coach Jack. Leads the team in just about every statistical category. Second in the conference in scoring. Westbeld, nice ball movement from the Fighting Irish there.
Woolley got pulled out of the bottom of that zone and left Watson wide open. She can't be pulled out that much. You've got 2 players in Fair and Woolley who are playing the bottom of your 2-3 zone. And so Notre Dame's going to try to go at them because those are 2 guards playing the bottom of the zone.
Talked about it with the Syracuse team coming off their biggest win of the season, taking down number 14 UNC back on Thursday. It was the first win over a top 25 team this season, and the first top 25 win for Coach Jack as well at Syracuse.
Hyman trying to keep Olivia Miles on the left side of the floor.
Nice find from Watson. Westbeld again at the rim, just couldn't put it home.
Notre Dame already with Cass Prosper in the game. The true freshman. I'm going to go with that because she just enrolled a couple of weeks ago here at Notre Dame, and she was the first player off the bench.
Dyasisha Fair can put anybody on skates. Tough shot, though, well defended by Olivia Miles. That's going to be a matchup to watch all day. Miles underhand toss to Westbeld as she gets fouled going up for 2.
There aren't many other players in the country that would even try that pass that Olivia Miles just made. Notre Dame, Syracuse, we've got a good one here early. Dyasisha Fair getting going in transition.
Better off with an ally.
Saw some of the photos there after Syracuse took down number 14 North Carolina. You know, Kelly, Syracuse entered that game Thursday an 0-7 record against top 50 net teams, including an 0-4 record to programs in the AP top 25. It was the first top 25 win of the season there. I mean, how big of a win is that for Syracuse? We know that a win here might solidify their positioning in the NCAA tournament, but as far as a program builder like Coach Jack is, that's a really good win.
Well, it's the first ranked win of the Coach Jack era, and it was huge for their resume. When you look at the net, you're trying to move into the top 60 if you're Syracuse. You needed a signature win, and they got that. Their third quarter was just explosive. And yes, UNC was missing 2 starters, Alyssa Usby and Eva Hodgson. UNC is still a very, very good team. They blew out Boston College today without those players. And the net don't care. The net doesn't care if you're missing some of those players. The committee takes that into account for North Carolina. But for Syracuse, that was still a massive win and a big confidence booster for them.
No question. Nat Marshall into the game, knocking down the elbow jumper. 6'5" junior from Queens, New York. Did not score in the game against Pittsburgh. It was a kind of a wire-to-wire game, a tester for Notre Dame. Able to hold on to it Thursday. Tisha Hyman with the ball. Over to Fair on the wing. Rice right through the middle, runs into a couple of Notre Dame players, and a foul in the backcourt. Foul against Selena Rice.
I think that the size of this Notre Dame zone is affecting Syracuse a little bit, and of course, as I say that, Coach Jack puts Georgia Woolley back in, who's one of the bigger players for this Syracuse team. But Notre Dame right now, Olivia Miles is the smallest player on the floor at 5'10", so you've got 6 foot plus all over that zone, and they're struggling to find driving lanes because of it.
Miles lays one off for Watson, and a really good start for Kylee Watson, 6 points of the 12.
Notre Dame needs Watson to show up. Without Lauren Ebo, Notre Dame is missing some depth inside, so that's a good sign for the Irish.
Hyman got fouled on the way up. Goes against Sonia Citron, her first.
Here's the vision we always talk about with Olivia Miles. She elevates, she scoops, and she finds Kylee Watson. It's just so smooth. It's so pretty, Sam. There really is no other player in the country that can do what Olivia Miles can do and that can make or even would attempt some of these passes.
Hyman makes the first. Yeah, I mean, 7.2 assists per game. For passes like that, I mean, they're kind of mind-boggling to us, Kelly, but do you think, like, she envisions that pass before she actually drives, or is it something that she just creates mid-air?
I think she knows I've got Watson.
Okay.
I've got Watson on the other block, so I'm going to look to score, but if they bring 2 over, I'll look to find Watson. And, look, she's feeling good. We've called quite a few Olivia Miles' games this year. I can tell she's locked in, and she's coming to play. She didn't have the best game against Pittsburgh, struggled a little bit to shoot it, still had 13 assists because of course, but she looks locked in.
First points of the game for Olivia Miles, as Notre Dame holds a 3-point lead over Syracuse. 2:42 to go. Little push off there for Hyman wasn't called. Offensive rebound brought in by Lewis. Kick out for 3. Bit too strong.
It's a great look for Syracuse. O-boards are going to be very important for the Orange to get good looks out of that zone.
Hassan Prosper for 3.
Hassan Prosper can be a game changer for this team, and she is being called upon to play a lot more with the Darren Mabry injury. She is a big-time recruit. She just enrolled in late December here at Notre Dame, the second ever early enrollee, and she's starting to look comfortable.
Shots are falling for both sides here. Notre Dame shooting 64%, Syracuse shooting 46% here in the first quarter.
And Syracuse needs Tisha Hyman to look to score as well. She missed the last couple games with an injury, came back against North Carolina, and was their leading scorer last season.
And Notre Dame making it no secret they want to get it down low, but a couple of shots close to the basket haven't fallen for the Fighting Irish. There's Lewis underneath. Nice find from Woolley.
The few times that Syracuse has been able to get out in transition, they've been really effective. So Notre Dame has to be careful because at times Notre Dame can get sloppy with the ball. Syracuse looks lethal in transition.
Really good defense there from Dariauna Lewis, not letting Miles get down the lane.
And notice she just ran back and switched with Tisha Hyman going bottom to top on the zone. Watson
turns and one. Just too much to handle for Syracuse.
Kylee Watson is all of 6'4" inside. That's another good pass from Sonia Citron. And Watson goes right up with it, uses her left hand. Honestly, I think Dariauna Lewis thought that Citron was shooting it, and so wasn't exactly ready to guard. And that was a great job by Sonia Citron to find her post player inside.
About a minute to play here in the first quarter. Kylee Watson with 8 of the team's 19 points for Notre Dame. Hyman, contested jumper is short. And Westbeld with the rebound. Jenna Brown into the game. Up to KK Bransford. Off to Prosper. Left hand, no good. Followed up by Westbeld and a jump ball. Possession arrow to Syracuse.
Feels like Hyman is trying to find her way back from that injury. I know she was back against North Carolina, taking some tough shots in this first quarter and hasn't been able to convert as much. Coach Jack gonna sit her down. Coach Jack knows she needs Tisha Hyman in this game, but gonna sit her down most likely for the rest of the quarter.
Yeah, lower leg injury for Tisha Hyman, suffered in the game against Louisville back on January 29th. Did not play against Virginia Tech or Boston College last week for the Orange. But that actually snapped a streak of 49 consecutive starts for Tisha Hyman. Woolley Steps into a three and connects. Can't leave her open, KG. She's 2 for 2 from long range.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Georgia Woolley has been lights out, as we talked about her last 5 games, but today she's knocked down 2 big threes. And in shoot-around today, Coach Jack emphasized 2 things for this team: free throws and out-of-bounds plays. So I know she loves to see execution on that blob.
Bransford, couple steps in, misses the jumper. Still time to get a shot off for Syracuse for the lead heading into the second quarter. Oh, and Woolley comes up short.
We saw Woolley make 2 half-court shots in shoot-around today.
And what the production was from Kylee Watson. 8 points to lead all scorers for Notre Dame.
It's huge for the Irish. They need some of that depth to continue to develop and show up. And Ebo is a player that's almost in double figures. She's had a really good year, the transfer from Texas. She's currently out with injury, so they needed some depth to step up, especially inside, and that's what Kylee Watson is doing so far for the Irish.
Georgia Woolley hit 2 threes in the first quarter. Elena Rice, just not a lot of places to go trying to penetrate this defense for Notre Dame. Inside, Sanaya Wilson, her first shot of the game, rolls off the rim into the hands of Nat Marshall.
We'll see if Notre Dame continues it, but it seems like Woolley has pulled Notre Dame out of that zone. It was man-to-man on that possession.
Citron for 3. Notre Dame attempted 1 3 in the first quarter. They average about 15 attempts per game. So what does that tell you as far as what head coach Neil Ivey's thinking?
Tells me the game plan was to go inside. We talk about Syracuse not having that traditional size, and that's what Notre Dame's tried to do with Kylee Watson, with Westbeld as well. Those two have 12 of Notre Dame's 19 points.
That's going to be second foul on Sonia Citron, so she heads to the bench after picking up those 2 quick fouls. 0 for 3 from the field. Talked about the production Citron has provided for this team over the last 5 games or so. 19 points a game as Elena Rice misses the first free throw.
That's big. If you're Syracuse and Coach Jack, you're thinking, okay, we've got perhaps the rest of this second quarter, or at least most of it, without Sonia Citron, who arguably, since the Darren Mabry injury, has been Notre Dame's best and most productive player. So Syracuse has to take advantage of Citron on the bench right now.
All tied 19-19. Marshall looking inside. KK Bransford fighting for it, picks it up. Shot clock reset there, and I don't think the ball touched the rim. So we'll have to take a look at this here.
Right as you said that, I looked up and said, what's the shot clock at? Because there had not been a rim touch, so it definitely should not have reset.
Officials today: Angelica Suffren, Bruce Morris, and Daryl Humphrey for our game today. Right now it's reset to 14. And ball will be taken out on the sideline there by Bransford.
Sam, this might be a good opportunity to compliment both coaches on their fire pink fits. Both of those blazers are excellent.
And the uniform spectacular as Westbeld kind of frustrated there, even though she made the basket off the glass. I don't think that's what she was trying to do, but she'll take it after missing a couple of close ones in the first quarter.
You'll take it. You just, you got to play it off better. You got to pretend like you meant to bank it.
That one poked away into the hands of Wilson. Knocked out of bounds. He's going to stay home here with Syracuse. All right, here's Thursday night's women's basketball doubleheader. Tania Latson leading the number 19 Seminoles against Dyasisha Fair in Syracuse at 6 Eastern time. Then Deja Kelly, number 14 North Carolina, taking on Diamond Johnson and number 22 NC State, who lost today to Virginia. It's going to be another great night of women's hoops right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. This conference never ceases to amaze, Kelly. You just don't know what you're going to get on any given day. And NC State kind of realizing that today.
And Syracuse will be back in prime time on Thursday night with another ranked opponent, another chance at a quad 1 win in addition to today's game.
Dyasisha Fair, 4 points in the first quarter, leading scorer for Syracuse. Kind of been held in check a little bit. Gets the ball here, open for three. Don't count it for long, though, because she can hit those with the best of them. That is now her 66th made three of the season.
B-U-C-K-E-T. That woman is a bucket. There's no other way to describe her. And the fact that Notre Dame has switched to man, if I'm Coach Jack and I'm Syracuse and I'm Dyasisha Fair, I'm thinking, get me the rock, set me some ball screens, because there's very few players in this league that can go one-on-one better than Dyasisha Fair.
Maybe Olivia Miles would want to have a conversation with you about that.
We've got two of them in this game, that's for sure.
Watson open underneath. Watson has been the beneficiary of some really good driving and penetration from Notre Dame.
We've got a shoe tie situation here as Wilson tries to get back in the play.
10 points for Watson here, leading Notre Dame. Coming off a screen there, Lewis can't finish the jumper, and Kassan Prosper out leading the break. Miles lost the handle, Woolley hits the deck. Westbeld picks it up, takes it to the basket, can't finish the layup, jump ball, possession arrow to Syracuse. Kind of an awkward play all around there.
That's only, well, that's a possession change, but neither of these teams have had that many turnovers. That's one of my concerns sometimes for Notre Dame, is they play so fast, they play so free that sometimes they turn the ball over. Only 4 turnovers for Notre Dame, 3 for Syracuse.
Yeah, both teams averaging about 16 turnovers a game, so just about even in that category. Woolley short on the 3.
Notre Dame was back in his own there, so George Woolley said, let me shoot this. Let me shoot this 3.
Backdoor cut, Bransford up and in. KK Bransford, the true freshman from Cincinnati, Ohio.
The Irish have done such a good job passing from the high post. They've been clinical in that regard. I like how Niele Ivey keeps switching up these defenses, keeping Syracuse on their toes. And it's really tough as a player when they play man for a couple possessions, they're back to zone, they're back to man. You're just not sure what to expect on any given possession.
Miles thought about it and might have traveled, sure did. Doesn't really agree with the call there, but it's going to be the 5th turnover for Notre Dame here in this game.
And this is what I'm talking about, the post-to-post passing between Notre Dame and passing from the high post. Maddy Westbeld does a great job of being patient, doesn't give up on the play, allows time for Bransford to cut, and a strong finish inside by the freshman, KK Bransford.
Still a 3-point lead for Notre Dame here. Under 5 to play in the second quarter. Woolley into the corner, Fair. Back to Woolley. Puts up a 3, that was blocked. Read well, but just couldn't finish. Dariauna Lewis wide open underneath after the block. Here comes Miles, floater in the lane. Rolls off the rim. Kassan Prosper with the O board. Oh my goodness. We had a perfect angle to that one, and the window was just so small.
What is that? What is that, Sam? That is not human from Olivia Miles.
My goodness. The thing is it's amazing that we're still surprised by it, right? I mean, it's just always happening every game. It's a foul on the floor going against KK Bransford. Olivia Miles doing her thing, as is the entire Notre Dame team. 6-0 run over the last 3 minutes and a 27-22 lead. Played with Coach Jack, breast cancer survivor, and back in 2017, and the two kind of concocted a plan when they were playing together, talking about what we want to do when we grow up and get a little older. And Coach Jack said, well, if I'm coaching at Syracuse, I want you on staff. But Coach Ludwig has had a very successful career of her own, being a high school coach in the state of New York.
Winningest coach in New York State history on the women's side, which is incredible, and was coaching in the Syracuse area. So Coach Jack tried to get her to come coach with her at different stops that Coach Jack was on, but she said, if you're the head coach at Syracuse, then I'll listen. And now she is coaching with Coach Jack, and Coach Jack said, that's my point guard. Those two go all the way back to their playing days. It's a pretty cool story. And she is a breast cancer survivor, which is awesome considering this is a Play for K game.
Yeah, really cool story. And just talking to Coach Jack about that and their relationship, it was, you can tell that those two have known each other for a long, long time. 27-22 is your score as another turnover, 6 for Notre Dame. Leads to a miss on the other end. The save is there. Hyman taking it in on Prosper. And has it blocked. Hassan Prosper, a little emotion after that one.
Prosper has had some big blocks in just her short time in a Notre Dame uniform. She has that ability. She's very long and has a knack for blocking shots.
Listed as 6'2", Kelly, but that, her wingspan
seems
longer to me than that.
Definitely. Doesn't look like a freshman. It's very hard to believe, like I said earlier, that she enrolled in Notre Dame in late December.
Syracuse 0 for their last 11 from the field, Kelly, and you kind of mentioned it. When Citron went out, this was kind of their time as Westbeld gets fouled underneath. And she will go to the line.
The shot selection in the second quarter has not been as good as it was in the first quarter. Syracuse just 1 for 14 from the field in the second. And some of that, I think Hyman has forced some things. She's taken some tough shots. And Dyasisha Fair, personally, I think needs to get more looks, even though she's only 3 for 8 from the floor. But live and die, ride or die with Dyasisha Fair.
Westbeld will have 2 at the line and makes the first. ACC Unity Week tips off Saturday. Here's our ACC Network basketball doubleheader. Pitt taking on Virginia Tech, 5 Eastern time. Then Clemson squaring off against Louisville in our second game. The stretch will run with separate contenders from the pretenders. Notre Dame run.
Got to find a way to slow down this run, to quiet this crowd a bit. Dyasisha Fair being aggressive, getting to the free throw line. That's what you want if you're Syracuse right now. Coach Jack emphasized free throws, as we've said, in shoot-around today. So I know she's pleased to see 2 for 2 there. But on the other side, I think Syracuse has done a little better job of guarding that post-to-post passing. But they have to make sure they communicate, because Notre Dame has been able to pick them apart against that zone from the high post.
Notre Dame 4 for 9 from the field here in the second quarter, and they've gotten it down low. And a couple of and ones this time. It's Nat Marshall.
And this is what I'm talking about. If you get to that ACC logo area, good things happen against a zone. Great job by Olivia Miles. She just commands so much attention. It's tough when you're the back end of the zone. If you're Sanaya Wilson, you've got to come up. You've got to respect Miles attacking the rim. And a lot of that's on the guards. It's not just the back of the zone. The guards have to do a better job, much easier said than done, of staying in front of Olivia Miles.
Yeah, that's a tall task to ask of anybody. As we hit the 2-minute mark here to go in this second quarter. 1 for 14, you see it there, Syracuse from the field. Notre Dame shooting 50% from the floor here in this second quarter. Orange over their last 11. Gotta get some momentum going into the break here, as Hyman's shot at the buzzer is no good.
Ball did not touch the paint that entire possession against a zone. That's what Notre Dame wants. That's why you play a zone, keep them out of the paint.
Westbeld brought it down low. Jump ball gonna stay here with Notre Dame. just saw Notre Dame ranked 10th in the first top 16 rankings from the selection committee this past Thursday, which would give them a 3 seed in the tournament. As Westbeld catches the inbounds, misses the shot, followed up by Bransford. There's Miles underneath. Little point to Bransford there.
Bransford says Olivia Miles isn't the only one that can grab an assist or two on this team. Great pass.
Kennedy Perkins into the game as a ball handler for Syracuse. Top of the key for 3. Off the heel. Perkins with the offensive rebound. You know, this is one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country, really. Leading the ACC in offensive rebounding is Syracuse. And a turnover. Miles on the break, had it blocked. He's asking for a foul. Good defense there from Rice.
We also aren't seeing Georgia Woolley right now for Syracuse. She does have 2 fouls, so seeing some guards that might not play as much for the Cuse, but they miss her presence, especially when Notre Dame is in that zone.
Just about 10-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Miles so patient, gets open for a shot, no good. Knocked out last touch by Nat Marshall. So it will be Syracuse ball with the shot clock off.
It feels like Niele Ivey challenged her post players after that Pitt game, because Marshall, Watson, Westbeld, they have all played a really good first half inside for the Irish.
20 points in the paint for Notre Dame in the first half, just 6 for Syracuse. 7 seconds in the first half. Perkins just threw it up to Prosper. Prosper taking it all the way, got fouled with 0.1 seconds to go.
Good job by Prosper to understand she had time. She had time to get to the rim. Some players would not be as aware of the time and score and put up a half-court shot. We've seen that many, many times, but Kassan Prosper, who is just a young freshman, having that presence of mind is impressive.
Prosper makes the first, shooting about 60% from the free throw line, and just her limited early time at Notre Dame as an early enrollee, and makes both. So that'll do it here in the first half, Kelly. 36-24 is the score. Number 10, Notre Dame with a comfortable lead. In the meantime, let's go ahead and toss it to our friends back in Bristol, Connecticut. Dallin Cuff and Ivory Latta with the ACC Network halftime report.
Then use our advantage.
All right, so on the other side for Syracuse, Kelly, this was a 1-point game after the first quarter break. Syracuse scored 6 points in the second quarter, went 0 for 13 from the field to finish the second quarter. How do they get their offense back going and humming?
I think you've got to go to Dyasisha Fair more. You've got to find a way to get her more good looks. It seems, because they started Perkins, they're starting a 4-guard lineup and tried to go inside to their 1 big in Lewis. Great defense by Watson. I think for Syracuse, it's paint touches, but kicking it back out to their shooters.
Read well that time defensively, all the way up to Fair, who lays it up and in with the right hand. Dyasisha Fair had 9 points in the first half. Her first bucket of the second brings it back within 10.
I'm not going to count a team out that has Dyasisha Fair, because she can go off at a moment's notice.
Syracuse averages 75 points per game, good for 3rd in the ACC. Notre Dame, 76.5 points per game. That is 2nd in the conference. Bounce pass, Citron. Welcome back after these early 2 fouls in the first half. Sonia Citron is back in the game.
And what a pass by Olivia Miles. Gets to that ACC logo, and once she gets there, her teammates do such a good job of cutting and making themselves available.
Tough shot, Kennedy Perkins. Her first points of the game. Freshman from Bolingbrook, Illinois. Quick ball movement, baseline, Bransford, foul.
Notre Dame knows they can get the rock inside. That was a great pass by Olivia Miles. And Syracuse, they have to find a way. This is also a big bucket here by Perkins. they've got to find a way to make themselves bigger, and that sounds bad because you can't grow, but appear bigger, more active hands, jumping up and down, trying to get your hand in the face of the ball handler. That's the only way to prevent the ball from getting to that high post area and getting inside. Once Notre Dame has gotten it to the high post area, they've basically scored every time. So these guards have to be a little more active with their ball pressure.
Yeah, it looks like they've kind of moved Dyasisha Fair off the ball a little bit more, and Kennedy Perkins doing some of the ball handling. Long jumper there is hit from Dariauna Lewis.
Inside, back out, attack the paint, get a good look. That's what you got to do against the zone. And I agree with you, Sam. I think the goal is to try to find a way to find Dyasisha Fair on the backside of the zone, not have her have to handle the ball so much.
Fair on the wing. Gets into the paint, got bumped on the way up, it seemed like. Ball out of bounds. Will be Syracuse basketball. A lot of contact on the play there as Nat Marshall checks back in for the Fighting Irish.
I think Dyasisha Fair just lost the ball. The contact perhaps more was on Woolley, but I'm not sure she had control of the basketball, so that's probably why the official let it go.
Lewis, the double-double machine this year for the Orange. Baseline jumper. Lewis has 9 double-doubles on the season to lead the team. And you look at her numbers today, 6.6 boards.
I like the aggressiveness from her coming out of the half, knowing that she's got to be able to pull the posts out of the zone a bit and make those mid-range shots. She's made 2 in this third quarter.
Citron had it taken away. There's Lewis again. Oh, look at the touch to Perkins. Can't lay it in. Like a volleyball set from Fair there to Perkins.
That was a great pass. You got to get those layups. You're trying to fight back against Notre Dame on their home floor. You've got to convert, especially after a pass like that. Look at this pass from Dyasisha Fair. The presence of mind. Oh, and Perkins. Got to use the left. Got to be able to use the left on the left side.
Third foul on Georgia Woolley on that block. As Westbeld up at the left, no good. Back again, Maddy Westbeld. It's been a little bit of a frustrating day for Maddy Westbeld, but still, when you look at the line, impressive stuff. 10 points, 6 boards. Woolley open on the baseline, and she gets fouled.
Excellent adjustment by Georgia Woolley to elevate and then go to her left hand. If she had stayed with her right hand, that shot probably just gets blocked. But adjusted, went to her left hand. That was very smart. And I like that Coach Jack has left her in right now with 3 fouls.
First one good for Woolley. Every Thursday, 10 Eastern time, right here after our women's basketball doubleheader, the Nothing But Net crew going to break down the night in the ACC with highlights and analysis of every women's game and look ahead at the best games on the schedule in the coming week. That's coverage you can only get one place, and that is right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere, anytime. Big show coming up this week, Kelly, right?
It's only the best day of the year, Sam Ravitch. It's our Galentine's Day show. Where we celebrate the favorite gals, our gal pals, our female friendships. We celebrate it all on Galentine's Day. You're not going to want to miss it.
Prosper splits the double team and floats one up and in. Kassan Prosper now with 7. Syracuse hanging around as Fair has the shot blocked by Citron.
And that's part of the reason why obviously Notre Dame has size, but why they're playing a zone, because you want to limit Fair's ability to create and go one-on-one.
Dariauna Lewis will be whistled for the foul. That's her second.
Speaking of foul trouble, Coach Jack did take Georgia Woolley out. I thought she might leave her in because of where this game is at, just a 10-point game. But conventional wisdom says let her sit. You want to make sure you have her for that stretch run. Perhaps you get to that under 5 media and you reconsider it. But these are the tough questions when you're in game and you're trying to figure out the situation as a coach. What to do with players like that in foul trouble.
No question. And also when you consider the scenario and where Syracuse is right now at this point in the seaon. According to Charlie Cream, here are the scenarios kind of for this game. Syracuse is going to jump into the field with a win here today. An Irish loss could drop them from a 3 seed to a 4 seed, depending on some other action across the country. But that's kind of what's on the line, if you will, in this game.
And this would be a massive story for Coach Jack to make the NCAA tournament in her first season at Syracuse, where she inherited a roster with just 4 returning players. So she knows what's at stake. The players know what's at stake. And there's a little bit of pressure, I think, on both of these teams from a bracketology standpoint.
And Syracuse also fighting to keep that first round bye in the ACC tournament. But here's what we got right now. Duke, the highest seed, that is a 2. But you got a bunch of teams, Notre Dame, Virginia Tech, North Carolina right now, poised to host. Florida State is right there, and I mean right there. NC State lost today to UVA, which was a bit of a surprise. Louisville there is a 7th seed. Miami has also played well. And then Syracuse, first 4 out right now.
Syracuse does have plenty of opportunities left on this schedule. It's a tough finish. They have 3 of their last 4 on the road, but they will play some good teams, so the opportunities are there.
Nat Marshall from the free throw line knocks it down, and the lead extended to 13 for Notre Dame.
These reserve post players for Notre Dame have just been excellent today. And speaking of that dilemma, Coach Jack has put Georgia Woolley, number 5 for Syracuse, back in the game with those 3 fouls.
Fair for 3. They need a lot more of those from Dyasisha Fair, but once again, Syracuse hanging around, and Fair's got 11.
That's exactly what they're doing, hanging around. They've got to find a way, though, to get some more stops defensively and keep Notre Dame out of the paint.
Make it 14 for Fair, as Olivia Miles can't answer on the other end. There is Dyasisha Fair. Thought about it.
Ooh, I thought she was going to pull that, Sam. My goodness.
That's a tough shot, about as tough as you will see all afternoon. 16 points for Dyasisha Fair as she's starting to heat up.
If you let Dyasisha Fair get in one-on-one situations, she will cook you. And again, that's why Notre Dame, one of the reasons why they're in that zone.
Couple of turnovers here. Lewis fouled and 1. And that is number 3 on Sonia Citron.
Do not count.
Spot right there, Kelly.
It's really incredible what Dyasisha Fair has done coming from Buffalo with Coach Jack. She played 3 years at Buffalo, and now in her 4th season at Syracuse. She does have a 5th year. She has a COVID year for those Syracuse fans who obviously want her to come back. Was an honorable mention All-American last year. And her game has not suffered at all coming to the ACC. She is just as effective as she was at Buffalo in the ACC. And the only question some people had was perhaps her size, but her size does not matter. She's 5'5", and she does not care because she can still find a way to get her shot off whenever she wants.
Yeah, and she makes up with it with
her
the
speed,
quickness,
yes.
and that is just...
And just her mindset, her fearlessness. She's going to come after you. She will not let you stop her.
The defense has picked it up for Syracuse here in this 3rd quarter. 10 turnovers for Notre Dame in the game now as Fair gets bumped by Kylee Watson.
That was another thing that Coach Jack emphasized in shoot-around was Syracuse's defense. She said defense is going to be the difference for us, whether we get in the tournament or not in this stretch run. They've got to be able to lock in more, and they definitely have done that in the 3rd quarter.
Chance to make it a 1-possession ball game here as Perkins takes it in the lane, kicks it out. Lewis, mid-range jumper is good.
Lewis has been massive hitting those mid-range jumpers. She wasn't as effective in the first half at the rim, so they've adjusted. They've got her mid-range looks, and she's knocked them down.
11 points for Lewis. It's a 3-point ball game, a 10-0 run for Syracuse. Olivia Miles waiting to check back in. Into the corner, Prosper for 3. That's well long, and Wilson with the rebound. So Syracuse now has a chance to tie it up. Oh, Fair getting a little tricky with it. Lost the handle, but got fouled by Jenna Brown.
Just playing with her. Just playing with her, Sam. You can tell Dyasisha Fair's feeling good.
Well, just the confidence level of really both of these point guards is off the charts. I mean, we saw Olivia Miles have a couple of turnovers in the first half, and then that ridiculous pass that she had to follow it up. And Dyasisha Fair, the confidence to really turn it on, take more shots offensively. And she's back on the ball. We talked about it too. She was off the ball a little bit. Now she's got the ball in her hands. High arcing three. It's a tie ball game. The last time this game was tied, it was 19-all.
Oh my goodness. That was right in front of our broadcast position. Dyasisha Fair couldn't even see the rim from that contest. That was unbelievable.
It is a 13-0 run over the last 2.5 minutes, KG. And
I fell out of my chair. Sam had to pull me back up off the floor. Look, she can't see the rim here. She can't really even see the rim. And she finds a way to knock that down over KK Bransford, who's 5'11". Dyasisha Fair just 5'5". Will not be stopped.
A chance for the lead. And they do it. Everything's falling in right now for Syracuse on a 15-0 run, and they lead number 10 Notre Dame by 2.
The true freshman, Kennedy Perkins, has given Syracuse some really good minutes in this third quarter.
Westbeld in and out. Watson with the rebound, and she gets fouled.
Sam, we saw Syracuse do this in the third quarter in their win over North Carolina. They had 31 points in that quarter. They shot 12 for 15 from the field as a team. Are they doing it again?
Stay tuned to find out. We've seen some amazing fans across the ACC. Now we need your help this winter. ACC Network wants to experience each sport from your perspective. So snap a pic, take a video, tag it with hashtag #AllTheDevotion, and post it to your social. You just might see it on the ACC Network. Woolley, baseline jumper. Syracuse cannot miss here in this quarter.
Notre Dame is now face guarding and denying Dyasisha Fair the rock. So basically, we're playing 4-on-4. Syracuse versus Notre Dame on the offensive end. And Perkins and Woolley have stepped up in these recent possessions to make shots for Syracuse when Fair can't get a touch.
Syracuse is 11 for 16 from the field here in this quarter alone.
They're having another one of those crazy third quarters.
That's a tough shot from Miles. And a fight for the rebound, Bransford.
Dariauna Lewis has to be careful here. She is very fortunate that the officials did not call her for something extra, and Coach Jack making a great decision to bring her out right now, sit her down for a second. Or that's Sanaya Wilson, actually. But Dariauna Lewis, number 24 for Syracuse, has been battling inside, and she did not like that foul call. She slapped the ball away, and very fortunate the officials didn't call anything.
It will be her third personal foul as Bransford's at the line. 73% free throw shooter.
They need Lewis. She cannot pick up another foul before this quarter ends.
Still on the floor here with 30 seconds to play in the third. Syracuse leads it by 1. Woolley, top of the key for 3! Georgia Woolley.
Dyasisha Fair pointing at all of her teammates. Every time one of her teammates makes a bucket, she gives them a point, saying, I see you helping me out. What a third quarter for the Orange.
Woolley and Dyasisha Fair combined 6 for 11 from 3. KK Bransford. Mid-range is good. And 1 second to play. A travel turns it back over to Notre Dame. With 1 second to go here.
1 second is plenty of time to get a shot off. This is smart by Coach Jack. Take Lewis out. Don't even risk any sort of potential foul in this 1 second of the third quarter.
Oh, wide open. Shot off in time is left short. by Kylee Watson. Maybe a little bit too open, but Syracuse roars back, puts up a 30 spot here in the third quarter, and they lead it 54-52.
As you see, 30 points in the third, shooting a ridiculous percentage, 71% from the floor. Also 3 for 3 from three. In the big win over North Carolina, 31 points in that game. They were 12 for 15 from the floor. And you guys got to meet Coach Jack, or Doug did, our producer, and met Coach Jack for the first time at shoot-around today. If you talk to Coach Jack, you can imagine that her halftime speeches might just be the reason why Syracuse can have these incredible third quarters. She's that kind of coach.
You can tell that that play was drawn up in the huddle to come out with it, and it was executed perfectly. Miles to Citron there to tie it up 54 all. Elena Rice back into the game. She's been quiet today. Misses that shot, and Miles leading the break. Gets the handoff, whips one across. Citron too hot to handle. And the ball's loose, picked up by Fair, and Fair lays it in.
Citron goes flying on the floor, and Dyasisha Fair's there. Basically has to jump over her and get the two.
One of the challenges I can imagine of playing with a player like Olivia Miles, you got to expect the unexpected.
Head on a swivel. Got to always be ready.
Citron left open, didn't take the shot. Miles on the other wing.
Those two early fouls and sitting out for a lot of the first quarter, I think, affected Citron. But Maddy Westbeld knocks down a massive three for the Irish. Much needed for this team.
Crowd coming alive now in Purcell Pavilion. That was just the second made three of the game for Notre Dame. They were 1 for 6 before Westbeld hit that one. Perkins too strong. Lewis had great positioning underneath. Puts it right back up. Miscommunication on Notre Dame's side, and a timeout from Coach Jack in Syracuse. So 58-57 is the score, just getting underway here in the fourth quarter.
By as many as 13 today, but they currently lead because of this second half. They are fighting inside. Dariauna Lewis with a rebound and putback. She has 13 and 8. How about the big three for Syracuse of Dyasisha Fair, Georgia Woolley, and Dariauna Lewis have combined for 47 of Syracuse's 58 points. Those three have brought it here in Purcell Pavilion today.
Yeah, Lewis had 2 points in the first half, so she's got 11 here in the second. And Syracuse holds a 1-point lead over the 10th ranked Fighting Irish. Miles gets around Fair, kicks it out. Three, Citron rims in and out. Offensive rebound, put back by Kylee Watson. She's had a great game on the offensive glass here today. 13 points for Watson here. Kicked out of bounds. It'll be Syracuse basketball as Kassan Prosper comes back into the game for Notre Dame. KK Bransford to the bench.
Watson has been invaluable. This is, when you look at the competition, the best game that she has played in a Notre Dame uniform. And Georgia Woolley back at it, so smooth. Pump fake, one dribble. I'll take 2 of those.
Georgia Woolley 5 for 8 from the field today. She's got 15. So she continues her amazing stretch over the last 5 games. Citron open for 3. She's just that good of a shooter that you can't let her be that wide open.
She's shooting 45% from 3 coming into today. Had some foul trouble early, so hasn't really been able to get into rhythm. But the sign of a great player is being able to knock down threes when you haven't had the best game, and they needed that from her.
And she's shooting 53% from beyond the arc at home this year.
That's unreal.
And it's not a small number of threes either, as that shot is no good. She's made 33% of Notre Dame's total threes inside Purcell Pavilion this year.
And she also just played really good defense on Dyasisha Fair on that last possession.
Citron's open there in the corner. It'll be Miles taking the 3. Comes up short, ball rattles around, and Dariauna Lewis rips down the rebound. Quickly up the floor. Dyasisha Fair on the wing. Miles playing defense. It's hard to guard. And a fight for the rebound here is going to get it. We got a jump ball, I believe. Referee having a word with Kylee Watson there. A couple of players were tangled up. And I believe it is possession arrow to Syracuse.
Dariauna Lewis was slow to get up out of that scrum. Kind of gingerly walking on, limping a bit. Hopefully she's okay, because Syracuse needs her down the stretch.
And wondering if officials over at the table right now. So jump ball, possession arrow to Syracuse. Yep. Got that right the first time. So inbounds underneath. Fair into Wilson. Out of bounds. And Syracuse basketball there. The fans don't like it.
We've got one more look at it to see who it was off. Ooh, that's a tough one. If that was under 2 minutes, they would have definitely reviewed that. There's a very good chance that was off Fair.
So the ball was tipped out of bounds here once again, and it's staying with Syracuse. 10 on the shot clock. I'm with you there. I think that ball was last touched by Dyasisha Fair. Kennedy Perkins taking it out underneath, finds Woolley. Hands it right over to Citron. Miles leading the break. How about the hustle for Olivia Miles? Turn the Jets on there.
Olivia Miles has underrated speed, and a great job by Sonia Citron to find her fellow sophomore. Citron is already looking for Miles out of the corner of her eye, and Miles just beats everyone down the floor. The hustle.
That touches Fair's hand there
Olivia
too.
Miles, yes, and then the beautiful finger roll at the rim.
So Dyasisha Fair at the free throw line makes her first. Here's Thursday night's women's basketball doubleheader. Tania Latson leading number 19 Seminoles against Dyasisha Fair in Syracuse at 6 Eastern time. Then Deja Kelly, number 14 UNC taking on Diamond Johnson, number 22 NC State. Going to be another great night of women's hoops right here on the ACC network and the ESPN app.
A rare free throw miss there from Dyasisha Fair.
Shoots it over 80% on the year. It's a three-point game. Notre Dame with the ball. Prosper, corner three, short. Fair tries to get it off Prosper, instead ends up with a fresh 20 for Notre Dame. Miles loses the handle. Still a loose ball. Still a loose ball. And a jump ball, possession of Notre Dame.
That was a quick whistle on the jump ball, and I think you can hear some of the fans behind us that aren't pleased with that call necessarily. So here's a situation where Dyasisha Fair is trying to pick the ball up and go run. At some point, she probably should have just gone on the floor and grabbed possession of it. And Maddy Westbeld frustrated, thinking there was some contact. That is a very quick whistle on a jump ball, Sam. And it felt like they had a quick whistle on a jump ball a couple possessions ago as well.
I'm not sure we're discussing the call here. I think we're discussing the shot clock, and it's going to be reset, I imagine. Yeah, so it'll be 30 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, because possession changed hands there. Notre Dame did not possess the ball that entire time.
Oh, this is going to be an exciting finish, Kelly. 5 minutes to play here, a three-point game. Syracuse right there with Notre Dame right now. Quick hands, Dyasisha Fair takes it right out of Maddy Westbeld.
Fair has been a pest defensively at the top of that Syracuse zone.
Kennedy Perkins working one-on-one with Miles. Cutting Dyasisha Fair, got fouled. Oh, that almost went in. I think they are going to call it on the floor, though. Dyasisha Fair having herself a game. Foul goes against Olivia Miles. It is a 3-point ball game, folks, with 4:39 to play inside Purcell Pavilion.
Dyasisha Fair, top left of your screen, being face guarded by Sonia Citron. Pretending she's out of the play at the last second. She cuts back, gets the ball, draws a foul. She was trying to lull Sonia Citron to sleep. And she is someone who's used to being face guarding. She understands what that's like. You've got to be quick. You've got to pick your moments. And I just thought that was really creative by Dyasisha Fair. And Sonia Citron still face guarding her on this possession.
Lewis short on the jumper. Perkins with the offensive rebound. And stepped out of bounds. Well, the original. Yes, okay. The referee originally said that it was going to be Syracuse basketball, but it was Perkins that stepped out of bounds. How about Kennedy Perkins in this game? She played just 2 minutes in the game against North Carolina on Thursday.
She has been big. She's played some good minutes at the point. Good defensively, has 2 assists in there, 3 turnovers, only a freshman, but she does not seem to be afraid of being in this big moment.
Watson finding Prosper. Little contact there. Syracuse hasn't committed a foul yet in this quarter. And Woolley, too many steps.
Woolley needs to take one more dribble and take that up with the left hand. Trying to draw the foul, trying to jump stop and create some contact. I think she had the angle to get to her left hand.
Just the 9th turnover of the game for Syracuse. It's a team that averages about 16 a game.
If you're Syracuse, you've got to keep the ball out of the paint. At this point, I would not be worried about anybody but Citron shooting a 3, and I think you'd prefer that defensively to the alternative just like that, letting them get a good look in the paint.
And Notre Dame that's number 4 on Citron, by the way. Notre Dame has missed a couple of really close shots at the basket today.
They have, Sam, and great point. 4 fouls now on Sonia Citron. She has to be careful, especially because she's guarding Dyasisha Fair on the other end.
Citron, the team's best 3-point shooter at home this year right now, with 4 fouls. But Notre Dame still with a 3-point lead. Lewis hands it off to Woolley, had it poked away by Prosper momentarily. And once again, active hands for Kassan Prosper. 2 to shoot. Fair from the logo. Misses everything. Shot clock violation.
Watson just put a little bit of a hand up in Fair's face, which I think did the trick considering Kylee Watson 6'4". A little bit of resistance there so that Fair couldn't get a good look.
And Notre Dame 3 for 11 today from 3-point land. Citron foul. Georgia Woolley will get credit for it. That's also number 4 on her.
The game within the game, Sam, is this foul trouble that both these coaches are dealing with. And here's another situation of Notre Dame getting the ball to the ACC logo and finding their cutters. They've done such a great job of that all night. But 2 key players on both sides, Georgia Woolley and Sonia Citron, both with 4 fouls. Something to watch.
Oh, Citron misses them both. And out of bounds. Last touch by Watson. Notre Dame 13 for 20 from the free throw line here today, 65%.
I'm not sure Sonia Citron has missed 2 straight free throws all season.
Handed off, Woolley adjusted the shot midair. Good box out from Bransford. Olivia Miles all the way to the rim with a soft touch. Olivia Miles, when you need a basket, she can go get it. 8 points for her.
She's so long, so good finishing around the rim in transition.
Crowd coming alive inside Purcell Pavilion. Perkins picks up the dribble, finds Dyasisha Fair. Syracuse 0 for 4 from their last 4 field goals. Fair, long floater, that's short.
Excellent defense by the early enrollee Cass Prosper on Dyasisha Fair to be able to stay in front of her. Cass Prosper at 6'2", and force her to take that tough shot. That was a really impressive defensive possession.
A reminder, folks, you are watching ACC Network Basketball presented by Ally. There's a foul on Bransford. That's her second.
I think Coach Jack was trying to argue that that was an intentional foul. She was looking at the refs, crossing her arms, trying to argue for that. As a coach, it's a good call, in my opinion, to at least put that bug in the official's ear so they can take another look at it.
Yeah, so here's the intentional foul rule in the rule book. There's a lot of stipulations here, but intentional foul can be called if there's not a legitimate attempt to play the ball, contact designed to negate the opposing position. What's the biggest thing here when you're looking at this, Kylee, that you're going to keep an eye on?
The biggest thing with an intentional foul is unnecessary, hard, or excessive. That's what you look at when you're looking for an intentional foul. So was this unnecessary, hard, or excessive? I think a little bit there when she pulls her shoulder. That's where you could say it's possibly an intentional foul.
And does a clear lane to the basket play into this at all as well? Because there was a pretty good look that Dyasisha Fair was going to have, a pretty easy lane.
Right, and you see players do that. You want to foul on the open floor to prevent a layup. Most of the time it's just a wrap-up foul. But because the way she pulled her shoulder there for a second, and Fair sold it a little bit, as any good basketball player would, I do think there is an argument for this being an intentional foul, and the fact that they're spending a decent amount of time reviewing it makes me think that they just might do that and upgrade it.
Well, the foul was whistled on KK Bransford. So her second.
And again, I think this is a good job by a coach to look at the ref, the X, the intentional foul symbol, say, hey, take a look at that. We're under 2 minutes. Every point matters in this game. It's a good job by Coach Jack.
Didn't even have to say anything, just put the
and she
X
kind
up.
of gave him the dagger in the eyes, you know, gave him a stare.
Our officials taking a long look at this and conversing. Angelica Suffren, Bruce Morris, and Daryl Humphrey talking this one over.
And if this is an intentional foul, 2 free throws to any shooter and the ball, if they do call this.
Common foul. That's the official ruling.
They didn't upgrade it. Again, I hate to not have a stronger opinion on it. I think it could have gone either way. A little bit of pulling on the shoulder, but nothing crazy. So they decided not to upgrade it.
Minute 45 to play. Syracuse down by 5. Dyasisha Fair lays one off. Woolley off the backboard, no good. Olivia Miles tripped up. She's fouled and went down hard. Olivia Miles helped up to her feet now. That's a good sign. It's number 4 on Sanaya Wilson.
You know it's got to be a hard foul when you lose the goggles. Because those goggles are on tight for Olivia Miles.
Well, it's been a physical game. The officials have let it go. I mean, you got two team fouls on Syracuse, 4 on Notre Dame right now with a minute 30 to play in the game. Miles in no rush here. And a timeout from head coach Niele Ivey with a minute 20 to go. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Once again, your score right now, number 10, Notre Dame 66, Syracuse 61. Syracuse done a good job handling the ball here. Dyasisha Fair, her 4th straight game with 20 or more points. Maddy Westbeld having a good game as well. Olivia Miles right down the lane, gets fouled by Dariauna Lewis. That's number 4 on her.
Olivia Miles with that quick first step. And yes, that foul goes to Dariauna Lewis, but Elena Rice could not stay in front of Olivia Miles, so she put Lewis in a difficult situation. Olivia Miles gets right to the rim.
And Notre Dame has missed a couple of free throws here today that have proven costly at times. 77% on the year for Olivia Miles. Goes 1 for 2.
13 of 21 from the free throw line. It feels like if Notre Dame has made a few more of those free throws, this game would not be as close as it is.
Dyasisha Fair turns it over. And Olivia Miles will slow things up here.
Notre Dame has done a really good job on Dyasisha Fair in the fourth quarter. She went off in the third, and that's part of just, she's Dyasisha Fair. It's going to happen. But the team defense by Notre Dame to make things very, very difficult for number 2 in pink in the fourth quarter has been impressive.
Four fouls on Georgia Woolley, Wilson, and Dariauna Lewis, all with 4 for Syracuse, and Perkins up to foul. We'll put Olivia Miles at the free throw line.
Olivia Miles with another game where she is at least threatening for a triple-double. That's her 10th point, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Another day at the office.
Just another day at the office for the magician, Olivia Miles. Coach Jack will call a timeout here with 50 seconds to play. You know, coming into this game, we knew it was going to be tight. We knew it was going to be close, and indeed it has been. Syracuse again, if they, still time to go. If they can come back and win this one, they are firmly in the field in the NCAA tournament. Notre Dame has done well after Syracuse put up 30 points in the third quarter to battle back and outscore Syracuse 17-7 here in the fourth quarter, Kelly.
Olivia Miles has been very good in the fourth. I think the story overall for Notre Dame has been the production from the bigs inside. Without Lauren Ebo, Watson and Westbeld have combined for 27 points, and Marshall has given them some good points and minutes as well. Your Syracuse down 8, 50 seconds to go, 49 seconds to go. You got to score quickly here, apply some pressure, try to get a stop.
Tough pass there. Lewis able to bring it in, and she gets fouled on the way up. So Dariauna Lewis to the free throw line.
I like that play, by the way. You take Dyasisha Fair out of it. So again, you're back on kind of that 4-on-4 situation. Throw a lob to Lewis, who is an incredible athlete. She goes up and grabs it, earns a chance to the free throw line.
10th double-double of the season for Dariauna Lewis here today. Leads the team. Had a double-double against North Carolina on Thursday as well. Misses the second. And I think we heard a timeout from Coach Neil Ivey here. Just the first timeout used by the Notre Dame head coach. (69-62) the score right now. Kelly, when you think about what Notre Dame has had to battle through in terms of injuries, this was a team that struggled with depth last year. They had the depth this year, but the injuries to Lauren Ebo, missing her 5th straight game here today. Dara Mabry, who you see, who unfortunately were on the call when she did injure her leg. It's been impressive to see what the role players have done around Olivia Miles today.
If you're a Notre Dame fan, this game is a very good sign. You see Kylee Watson step up. You've seen KK Bransford step up. We talk about the Olivia Miles, Westbeld, Citron Big Three, but the rest of the team today has showed up, and they have been able to score and give you some of that production. Kylee Watson, I think the biggest one, getting the start. Prosper's giving you good minutes as well. So without Dara Mabry, who you don't have for the rest of the year, and then Lauren Ebo, who we believe is coming back relatively soon, These are the games where you have to continue to develop that depth, develop the confidence for players like Prosper and Watson so that they can perform come March.
There are 4 players in double figures for Notre Dame here today. Miles, Bransford, Westbeld, and Watson. That's going to be number 5 on Dariauna Lewis. So Dariauna Lewis will foul out with her 10th double-double. A couple extra words there on her way to the bench.
She does not want to go.
Yeah.
And she did play a great game. Dariauna Lewis is a tenacious rebounder, gave them 14 points, hit some big mid-range shots to get Syracuse back in this one.
She changed the momentum at the start of the second half. You know, she really went on kind of a really good run there, grabbing a couple of huge rebounds.
They're looking at something else now. I truly don't know what they could be looking at. Double checking that Lewis fouled out, maybe?
It certainly has been a stop and go last couple of minutes here. And Coach Jack wanted a timeout right after the free throw. So 70-62. Talk a little bit more about Olivia Miles. And again, started out, you know, kind of slow for this Notre Dame team. In the first half, only had 4 points, but her impact on the game cannot be underscored enough.
She stepped it up in the second half for sure. 12, 7, and 7. Got her teammates going, was able to also get the mid-range going, keep the defense honest. That pass we saw in the first half was ridiculous. Did a great job of attacking, getting in the paint, finding cutters, and she was really good in transition, running the floor, using that speed, beating everyone else to the rim. So Olivia Miles, a big part of Notre Dame's second half, but also the fourth quarter. Notre Dame's won this fourth quarter 18-8. She's been a big reason why.
Yeah, I think that's another encouraging sign as well for Notre Dame, the way that they fought back after giving up those 30 points in the third quarter. As Kylee Watson gets fouled by Kennedy Perkins. Both teams in the bonus now.
Sam, we've talked kind of the cliche of every regular season game matters in the ACC this year because of standings and because of seeding in the ACC tournament. But it does. Notre Dame right now, currently the 2 seed in the ACC tournament. Duke has the tiebreaker over them. They beat Notre Dame last week here in this building, but every game matters for Notre Dame if they want to maintain their spot at the top of the ACC and get that double bye. And you see what I'm talking about here. Notre Dame can improve to 11-3 today, but they don't play Duke again. So if they want to win the regular season, they've got to rely on Duke to falter, and Duke has looked really good this week. Blew Boston College out of the water and then beat a solid Miami team today.
Louisville's hanging around there as well, despite you know, having a rough start to ACC play this year.
With today's Miami loss and Louisville win, Louisville moves into one of those byes.
And so Watson now at the free throw line. It's the first. Kylee Watson in this game as well. 15 points. She had 8 in the first quarter alone. Ten-point lead as Woolley throws a floater up there and a timeout for Coach Jack. Last timeout for the Syracuse head coach. talk a little bit more about Coach Felicia Legette-Jack as well, because you think about, you know, the ACC Coach of the Year run this year, and there's just so many really excellent teams. And Coach Legette-Jack is certainly in that conversation and deserves to be.
Here's the way I see the ACC Coach of the Year race. I think these are my top 4 right now. You could also make an argument for Coach Mox down in Virginia. But Kylee Watson, what she's done at Duke, a team that didn't make the tournament last year and turned it around, they're first in the ACC. Brooke Wyckoff taking over for a legend in Sue Simrau, has Florida State in the conversation for the top of the league. Niele Ivey bringing Notre Dame from not getting a top 4 seed last year to where they are right now. And then Felicia Legette-Jack inheriting a Syracuse team that had 4 returning players. Had some controversy with their coaching change, all these types of things. She inherits a roster with not even enough players to go out there and play.
Right.
Brings in a bunch of mid-major kids and has Syracuse on the verge of the NCAA tournament. So you can't go wrong, I think, with any of these coaches for ACC Coach of the Year. Kylee Watson is probably the favorite right now with how Duke has played.
Well, this league continues to amaze and continues to be the toughest conference in the country, as Lena Rice commits the foul on Olivia Miles. Continue to talk about, you know, the parity that we've seen all year long. Kelly is only going to make for a more interesting ACC tournament that is coming up, and we will have coverage, by the way, on the ACC network on day 1 throughout the entire tournament.
It is going to be so much fun. And we talk about Syracuse trying to get into the NCAA tournament. They still have opportunities. This game was not the end-all be-all for them. They've got Florida State Thursday. That's another chance for a signature win. Miami and Pittsburgh, and then, of course, the ACC tournament. So a team that is still very much bubblicious.
Gonna have to win a couple of those games, right?
I think so. I think you got to win 2 of those last 3, at least, and then perhaps win a game in the ACC tournament, if not 2. But it is very doable. You don't know what's going to happen outside of the conference as well. The committee's not going to look at Syracuse losing at Notre Dame and saying, okay, it's a good loss. If anything, I know that's counterintuitive.
Olivia Miles holds on to the ball, and Notre Dame takes it at home, 73-64. Your final. Fighting Irish improved to 11-3 on the year in ACC play, and Syracuse back below 500. Kelly, your final thoughts.
Notre Dame getting it done by committee today. 4 players in double figures, led by Kylee Watson, who was just excellent inside for the Irish.